welcome to a cover story conversation with Suhel Seth, political columnist, commentator, and someone whose views are always out of the box, and someone whose comments, especially on Twitter, I always follow and appreciate. Also, Suhel, I have to tell you, I'm really enjoying your Twitter timeline. But more than that, today is actually we're going to be talking politics. I really want your take on the Gujarat elections, Rahul's Yatra, and of course the rise or the non-rise of Arvind Kejriwal. But to begin with, let's talk about Rahul Gandhi. He's now decided that he's going to stop his yatra and actually campaign for a bit in, not stop, but he's going to hold one or two meetings in Gujarat also. How has the campaign been without Rahul Gandhi?
I think the campaign in Gujarat, by and large, has been between two, that's the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. The Congress willy-nilly has given up its position in most states, which is quite alarming. It's almost as if the Congress has conceded defeat even before the battle has been fought. And what has happened in Gujarat again is tokenism. You can't have two meetings and hope to upset an apple cart, which has been fabulously created by the Modi-Shah duo. I mean, look at what they've done. A former chief minister, former deputy chief minister have not been given tickets to fight. That is the concentration of the BJP on winnability. It just shows they have zero loyalty towards anything other than winning an election, which, by the way, is not a bad thing because they're a political party. Right. They're not an NGO. The Congress, sadly, has become more and more of an NGO. The optics of the Bharat Jodo Yatra are brilliant. Little children, an aging mother, blessing Rahul. These are all great optics. But, tragically, optics don't win you elections. Votes do. The very people who are walking with him, from film actors to film, personalities to literatures to authors, these are people who hardly even step out on voting day to vote. So, it's about the elephant's teeth. Dikhane ke kuch aur khane ke kuch aur. So, jo hathi ke daant aap dikha rahe ho, what does it mean? My other concern is, and I wrote about it, we discussed this on your show as well. I think Rahul Gandhi has finally decided that politics is his resting ground. And I mean it with sincerity. But the manner in which he's going about it is again flawed. Because just like he did with Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar in Karnataka, they need to bring people together. Even before the yatra has begun in Rajasthan, there's now a situation where Ajay Makan has said, look, I want to have nothing to do with Rajasthan. Now, this is when Kharge and he were observers in that famous meeting where no one met them. Now, how do you address indiscipline? This is an issue that Sachin Pilot raised exactly 11 or 12 days ago, when he said that what happened to the disciplinary action that should have been taken against those three people? Nothing. So it's almost as if the entire party is in a limbo. People walk for health reasons and for protestation. When Gandhi marched, when he did the Dandi march, it was to the finish. It was focused. It had no dissipation of idea or strategy. The problem with the Bharat Jodo Yatra is they don't know what they have to jodo. They don't know what they have to bring together. Is it a yatra where people can come? Again, by the way, there is VIPism in that yatra.
There is?
You can't come right up to the front unless you've been given permission by the Congress party. So, you can't hang around with Rahul Gandhi because, you were waiting for an auto rickshaw and you decided, chalo bhai, Rahul se baat kar lenge. So, that whole culture...
But that's a logistical issue, to be fair to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I'm saying it is not a people's march. It is a Congress's march, hoping to tell the people that we are ready to march towards the next election. But the fact is, marches don't win you elections. Mahatma Gandhi did a great march, but he didn't ever fight an election. Now, a lot of people said, oh, but Chandrasekhar marched, someone else marched, someone else marched. But please remember, they also had a great a cadre backing them and a clear strategy. When Advani did the Rath Yatra, there was a clear strategy of what he wanted to achieve. He wasn't going picking up little children, patting some aged old, an aged person and, generally doing cartwheels. He was focused on what he wanted to do. And that's how he did it. To my mind, that is the only way you can hope to win elections. The Congress, Priya, must recognize They are a political party and not an NGO. They will only remain relevant if they win elections. They will remain relevant if they stay in power. And they will remain relevant if they pick up issues that are relevant to people, not relevant to Rahul. The relevant to Rahul issues are no longer the relevant to people issues. And the sooner Rahul Gandhi realizes that, the better off he will be.
Thanks. In fact, you made a very good point about distinction between how the yatra is helping maybe Rahul, but not the Congress and not this electoral fortunes. Since you're also good at branding, I just want to put a thought on the table and get your take on it. Supposing Rahul Gandhi does, he's no Gandhiji, but supposing he becomes, someone who will do the yatras, be the public face, get ideas, get them back to the Congress, but not have anything to do with the electoral. Let him also not fight an MP election. Let him not be involved in that, because we know how difficult it is for him these days to win a seat. Let him be that ideologue face who brings ideas, becomes like a sort of a trustee to the party, because it is the Gandhi name that keeps the party together. So they need a Gandhi in action, and then let somebody else do the rest of the
So that's a
does
good
that
point.
work?
Yeah, it depends on the family.
No.
I don't think the family will remain relevant if Rahul Gandhi moves from being a politician to being an ideologue, because he hasn't been very intellectually impressive either. I can understand if the guy was writing op-eds, speaking sense, going abroad, actually, carrying all of these things. But now to talk about saying, oh, my party, I won't fight an election, but I will lead the party. Who is he to lead? And if he's leading, people will assume that he's leading because he's a Gandhi and because he's Sonia Gandhi's son. So a choice has to be made. See, there is no such thing as partial pregnancy. Rahul Gandhi can't be a partial politician and a partial ideologue. He has to take a decision. And I think, to my mind, with the Bharat Jodo Yatra, the decision he has taken is that he will be in mainstream and mainline politics. Now, what needs to be done is, if he's in mainline politics and if he's in the mainstream, then he needs to figure out what he needs to do. Because please remember, he is now almost the chairman of the board. The CEO is Kharge. Now, what do you want Kharge to do and what will you do? Now, there your idea comes handy. Let him decide the vision for the party and let Kharge execute. But then you're expecting someone at 80 years old, and I'm not being ageist, but at 80 to ramp up the youth, to inspire the youth. He's so old-fashioned in his ways. Forget all his rise and all of that. I respect all of that. I respect the struggle he's gone through. Every bit of it I respect. But now to expect an 80-year-old guy to galvanize a party against people who work 18 hours a day is a bit much. And also remember, BJP is showing no signs of slowing down. BJP is showing no signs of rupturing. Normally what happens is, when you win 2 elections back to back, there is complacency, lethargy, arrogance. I mean, arrogance there must be, I'm sure, but there's no lethargy or complacency. I mean, these guys are like a well-oiled machine. My tragedy is that the BJP should have been in the election mode and Congress should have been in government. Because the BJP knows how to win elections, the Congress knows how to govern. Ye tragedy ho gayi hai ki now both roles are in one.
That's very well said, actually. Which, in fact, a Congress leader once told me, he said there are 2 models of, from our epics, we have 2 models of governance. One is a Mahabharat model, one is the Ramayan model. Ramayan model is where Ram himself is the protagonist, but he's an active, he fights his own battles and he's an active fellow. Whereas in Mahabharat, Yudhishthira is the leader, but he doesn't do the fighting. He's got a team of brothers around him who do the work, which is what he says Congress is the Mahabharat model. So Rahul can be that figure, or Kharge can be that figure, and have 5-6 good, able people, maybe DK Shiv Kumar, Sachin Pilot, North, South.
Yeah, but who will be the Dhritarashtra? That is the thing to ask. Bhai, और द्रौपदी कौन होगी? भाई एक बात है, if you look at the Congress today, the Congress, I mean, I have to say, with due respect, I'm unable to understand who is deciding on the strategic issues for the Congress party. I'll tell you why. And this is where I feel pained. In just sheer brilliance, man to man, woman to woman, Congress is 10, the BJP is 1. In terms of intellect, in terms of experience, in terms of everything. Where BJP scores is on the following: integrity, high; focus, very high; sincerity, very high; but experience zero, clueless to a fault. They are like the modern day Neros at times. Things are happening, they don't care. They don't even bother to respond to it. If there's a problem, Modi doesn't respond. And he's right. He's following the Narasimha Rao model. आप problem होगी, आप कुछ मत बोलो. Eventually problem तो जाएगी जाएगी.
And why be the face of bad news?
So no one will hold you to it. But the point I'm making is you can't run a country like this. A, B. There are a lot of expectations people have in a democracy. The base expectation of a democracy is that you must have a multi-party system. You must be able to put people in power to accountability. You must be able to test their resolve, their resoluteness, and their relevance. Here, reward, resoluteness, and relevance is untested because there is no competition. And the tragedy is the media is aligned with the ruling party. I mean, you should see, it is vomit worthy what has been happening. You know, Biden is saying this to Modi. Dekha, Biden is saluting India. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I mean, you know, I used to tell people when they joined advertising, when a client asks you to jump, always ask why. Don't say how high. Yahan pe, it's the media asked to jump. Tell us, sir, how high? It is ridiculous. But where is the accountability? Now, Rahul Gandhi hosts and holds press conferences. But again, if you have 3 press conferences a week, what is the new thing that you're going to say? Modi doesn't hold a press conference. But all his chilla chapatas hold it, and they're doing a good job because they're out there every day. See, hard work is an essential ingredient in politics. And we have seen it from time immemorial. Whether it was Lincoln who brought about the Confederation in the United States, before that, Washington. If you look at Churchill during the war, if you saw what Margaret Thatcher did in the late 80s, she left, what, November 11, 1990. Yeah, so before that, you saw the amount of hard work. There was tenacious amount of hard work. Queen Elizabeth, in terms of service. Look at our country. We had very hardworking prime minister. Ab jo bhi kaho, Nehru was a hardworking prime minister, as was Indira Gandhi. Now we might not find them popular in today's, narrative, but to hell with that.
Yeah.
The only guy who slept his way through prime ministership was Deve Gowda. But otherwise, we've had pretty hardworking prime ministers, including Dr. Manmohan Singh. I mean, he never made a tamasha, but he worked hard. He was a bee. He was a silent worker.
So, and Narasimha Rao, who had no clue in becoming prime minister.
Unbelievable. So, point I'm making, Priya, is that Congress has to not only decide for itself, but it has to decide for democracy. That its role has to be purposeful, its role has to be more proactive, and its role has to be engaging with India, not only engaging within. The problem with the Congress is it is too insular today. You know, it's an echo chamber where only their voices are being heard. And if your voice is aligned with what the master wants to hear, you are in favor. If it isn't, you're not. And that, to my mind, is the ultimate tragedy of the Congress.
Which is also the same for the BJP. I mean, who speaks apart from cheering Modi? But they have a strong leader in place and a narrative.
They have a narrative, they have a strong leader. And please remember, they also have checks and balances. You and I don't know the amount of underlying pressure that is put on them by the RSS. I mean, you and I will never know.
Is there pressure? I thought RSS has been kind of silenced because Modi is winning elections.
Not at all. You see the influence of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. You see the influence of the RSS on policy. It's clear for everyone to see. I mean, why would industrialists flock to the RSS headquarters? They are the biggest, what should I say, bellwethers. They figure out ki kaun satta mein hai, kaun chala raha hai. Why would industrialists flock to meet the RSS chief, Bhagwat? Why would Bhagwat be given the kind of importance he's given at industry fora or by other people? People recognize, aap jo bhi kaho, there is an underlying influence of the RSS that the BJP cannot and will not ignore. Because the RSS feeds not only into the ideology, it also feeds into the cadre. And in today's India, if you want to win, you have to have a cadre-based polity which allows you the winnability factor and allows the winnability factor to rise.
But now let's take a look at the larger opposition and Kejriwal in particular. He wants national ambitions. He's been actually spearheading the Gujarat campaign in terms of the opposition narrative. But now he has to rush back to Delhi to fight the MCD over here. So where do you see Kejriwal going?
I see Kejriwal being the only relevant, formidable opponent for Modi. And I'll tell you why. Number one, as I said in another podcast, he's a Misna. In Punjabi, Misna means bada hi dangerous aadmi. If you don't know Punjabi, you'll never understand Misna. But the more important thing about Kejriwal is he knows the game that Modi plays, and he's playing version 2.0. What has happened is Kejriwal understands how to use, manipulate, employ, and polarize media. He has followed the Narendra Modi model, except he's excelled at it. What has he done? He has paid crores and crores of your money and my money in advertising to these media houses, which will never utter a word against him. So the echo chamber, which earlier had some level of disappointment, dissidence, disinformation against Kejriwal, all of that has vanished. Number two, for the first time, he has a functioning state under his belt, which is Punjab. Also remember, Punjab is a border state. And I don't mean to be, I'm from Punjab, so I don't mean to be vicious or facetious. But in a border state, governments, if they want, owing to corruption, counterterrorism, all of that, drugs, they can make tons of money. So his money supply is now finally back in operation. So he won't be found wanting for money. Please remember what the BJP has done with the electoral bonds. And before that, on November the 8th, with demonetization 2016, they completely choked the money supply of a lot of political parties. So it wasn't an easy thing for political parties to, again, kind of get back their money. Now, Kejriwal has that money supply, and he will use that money supply strategically. We saw him use it in Goa, but to no great benefit. Even Mamata Banerjee spent a lot of money there. But I find him to be the most forbidding, most dangerous, and the person to watch out for.
No, I totally agree with you on that. But, I think you and I had this conversation earlier where we were discussing how Congress has cadre and no face, and Kejriwal has the face but no cadre. So, he may be the face for Modi, but, he doesn't have even in Gujarat, he's fixing the narrative, but, I don't know how many seats he'll get at the end of the day.
Let's imagine he gets 10 to 20 seats. Let's imagine, which I think he will. If he gets 20 seats in that assembly, he will be a disruptor. What will also happen is he will start playing the persecution, the victim card. देखिए assembly में मेरे को आवाज ही नहीं उठाने देते. देखिए हमको मारा पीटा है. Yesterday Raghav Chadda said, "Oh, they kidnapped one of our people." I mean,
correct.
Serious. It's a functioning country of a police station. What the hell? They kidnapped someone. So this whole chest beating victim narrative will be played out with great alacrity and to all our collective pain every day. But what it'll mean is he'll be in the news. Amar Singh used to famously say, the important thing for a politician, charcha, parcha, kharcha. Charcha mein hona chahiye, parcha mein hona chahiye, aur kharche ki औकात honi chahiye, bas. So he's got now charcha, parcha, kharcha. Kharcha nahi tha, ab wo bhi aa gaya. So in many ways, he has completed the circle of influence, as it were, with winning Punjab. So he will continue to be a disruptor. And please understand, it's very simple, Priya. It's a great marketing thing. A David versus a Goliath, people always support a David. In our country, even more so. It's very easy for David to throw stones at Goliath because there's more of Goliath. It's not that he's bigger, but there's more of him. For him, every day they'll throw stones at Modi. Acha, Modi will not respond. So what happens? What BJP needs to worry about is what happens after Modi, which no one is talking about. Will he actually demit office when he turns 75? Will he go up into the Himalayas, into that cave that is being made ready for him? What will happen to Narendra Damodar Das Modi? Because please remember, Priya, his strategy and his life plan is completely intertwined with everyone else's. I genuinely believe if Modi continues to be who he is, he will remain in office till something happens to him. He's not going to go away. No matter what he does, he is Teflon coated. The people love him. People are inspired by him. He's their only winning jockey. So, people need to ask within the BJP or outside, ki bhai Modi ke baad kaun? Because that will then be the deciding factor ki how these people will turn or change or, reverse their strategies. And no one is talking.
So all this posturing that is happening is actually for a post-Modi era from the opposition and from, wannabe.
Let them be. Let there be no doubt. Yeah. As long as Modi is there, he is Prime Minister of India. If Modi lives till 100, he will remain Prime Minister till 100. And I'll tell you why. I'm no bhakt or no, they say, oh, badi achhi. What he has done will find fruition both economically and socially in the next 5-10 years. So he will be physically there to reap the harvest. The second, as he continues to, churn the wheel, as it were, and to work the way he does, he will continue to becoming a statesman from being just a prime minister. And that has happened. Number 3, they are very good at back marketing, all these Johnnies in the BJP. G20 doesn't affect you or me. No one gives a damn. Even before the G20, the only thing we had heard of was G23, thanks to the Congress. But G20 ka inhone itna natak chala diya, he's being given the gavel, India will gain the president. It's by rotation. It's not we deserve it, it's by rotation. So, it's bizarre how the narrative is played out. So they're slowly pushing him up, saying, Dekhiye, Vishwa Guru, global satrap, people are coming, meeting him. Only this Chinese thing went wrong. They should have just done a reverse video where they showed Xi Jinping coming up to Modi rather than the other way around. But every narrative is...
Please take note, BJP media cell.
Every narrative is played in such a way कि भाई वो विश्व गुरु हैं ये वो. And to be fair, the guy works hard. जो भी आप कहो, there has been no financial or other scandal during the tenure of this government. It is unheard of. Manmohan Singh wasn't corrupt, but he allowed people to make money under his watch. Today, you don't see that. And for all the people who are saying, yaar, institution barbaad kar diye, ye wo, can I tell you, if Modi was really bad or evil, Justice Chandrachud wouldn't have been the 50th Chief Justice of India. Not once has the Modi government come in the way of the collegium's decisions. Not once has the Modi government come in the way of rewarding seniority, be it in the armed services or in the judiciary. Right, so he has not played around with institutions like Indira Gandhi did. You remember what Indira Gandhi did? Threw H.R. Khanna out because of his judgment. Appointed A.N. Ray. P.N. Bhagwati wrote, again, a vomit-worthy letter praising her, which no Chief Justice should have written. So have we forgotten history?
Before we end, I want 2-3 questions, but on a lighter note. One is, we've seen Rahul Gandhi now, he's changed his image. He's sporting a beard, and the other person with the beard is, of course, Prime Minister Modi. So compare the two beards. Is Rahul achieving gravitas?
No, unkempt versus kempt. Carefully careless and carelessly careful. See, Modi ka ek baal bhi, it'll not be banka. Even when he had that beard, it was almost as if every day during COVID, only one person was allowed in, which was his resident barber. It was all free. It was flowing also beautifully. I can't imagine anyone having such a, if I can use the word, manicured beard, but it was like perfectly positioned.
Oh, perfect. In fact, I was also wondering where he gets his facials from. His skin is always glowing. There's some, maybe it's the power.
You knew him better than most. But when you come to becoming Prime Minister, your skin automatically glows.
That's true.
वो सत्ता की ग्लो है, सत्ता की देन है.
सही है. But Rahul Gandhi का क्या image has it? Because people are saying that actually
it's become much better. No matter what people may say, people are very unforgiving. I think Rahul Gandhi is on his way to becoming, as I said earlier also on one of your shows, he's becoming more and more relevant. He's becoming more and more acceptable. And all said and done, the Bharat Jodo Yatra is showing a humane face which is bereft of the family surname. For the first time, Rahul Gandhi doesn't need to be Gandhi, and it's just Rahul, and people are appreciating that. So what the Bharat Jodo Yatra has done is it has divorced, it has separated Gandhi from Rahul, and people love that bit. So I think the biggest contribution is the inventing and the invention of Rahul. You had that series Inventing Anna, but this is the Bharat Jodo Yatra is about inventing Rahul and not Rahul Gandhi.
That's a nice note. One quick thing, you always tell me I use you to give free advice to all politicians. So I'm going to do that again. What is your advice for Sachin Pilot? In terms of branding, should he stay on? Should he?
100% he should stay on. He should continue as an MLA. Because please remember, if Congress doesn't get rid of him, God will. Gehlot is getting old. I mean, he's not going to be there for forever. But if Sachin leaves now, wo na ghar ka, na ghat ka. So, to my mind, he should remain because he has worked for it. He is relevant and he's a respected person. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Why should he leave? Why should he make it so easy for Gehlot?
Actually, what you are saying is also what I think Sachin is also thinking. Why should I walk away from the field that I'm nurtured?
Absolutely. When it's just next to him, it's his for the asking.
So be patient, which is something I think... the Congress, I thought, is too patient, but I think Sachin needs to be a little patient, a little more.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Suhel, for this conversation, which I really enjoyed. Actually, we must do this more often. But thanks a lot for your take on everything that's political. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Hello.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.